Imagine this. You're walking through a hardware store because you've got a rat problem. You turn down the pest control aisle, and there they are, rows of colorful boxes, all promising the same thing. Fast, easy, no mess. One package practically whispers, "Trust me, bro." Then you spot the glue trap. No sharp metal, no poison, no complicated setup. It's basically a sticky piece of cardboard. Your first thought, well, this seems a lot nicer than a giant snapping mousetrap trying to recreate a WWE finishing move. So you buy it, you set it down in the garage. Go to bed, problem solved. Right? Wrong. Because that innocent-looking sheet of glue is one of the most controversial pest control products ever sold. Animal welfare organizations have criticized it for years. Many veterinarians oppose its use, and some places have even introduced restrictions or bans because of the suffering it can cause. And here's the crazy part. Most people who buy glue traps have absolutely no idea what actually happens after the lights go out. Tonight, we're opening that door, not because it's pleasant, but because if you're going to use something that can determine how another living creature dies, you deserve to know exactly what it does. So grab your snacks, preferably not cheese. We've got enough rodent stereotypes already, and let's talk about the trap that looks harmless. Until you learn how it really works. Before we start, let's clear something up. This isn't a rats are adorable and should all live in your kitchen video. If you've ever heard scratching inside your walls at 3 in the morning, you know exactly how stressful a rat infestation can be. One tiny scratch, then another. Then suddenly your ceiling sounds like it's hosting the Rat Olympics. You're lying in bed thinking, please just pay rent if you're going to live up there. Rats can contaminate food, damage insulation, chew through electrical wiring, and in some situations, spread disease. Nobody wants them running around the house. Wanting them gone is completely reasonable. The real question isn't whether you should deal with rats. It's how. Because not every solution advertised as effective is actually a good one. And glue traps might be the biggest example of that. Let's be honest. Glue traps have incredible marketing. Seriously. If pest control products had movie trailers, glue traps would have the dramatic voiceover. No poison, no chemicals. Easy to use, just place and wait. That's an incredibly tempting sales pitch, especially if you've never dealt with rats before. Snap traps. They look terrifying. One accidental finger placement, and suddenly you're explaining to your family why your thumb lost an argument with spring-loaded steel. Poison? People worry about pets or children. Or the smell if the rat dies somewhere inside the walls. Live traps. They sound nice until you realize you now have a very angry rat staring at you through a tiny metal cage while you Google, how far do I have to drive before this guy doesn't come back with his cousins? Glue traps seem to avoid all those problems. They're cheap, simple, quiet. No loud snap in the middle of the night that launches your soul into low Earth orbit. Just stick. Done. At least, that's what the packaging wants you to believe. Because glue traps don't actually kill rats. They simply stop them from leaving. And that difference turns out to be incredibly important. Now let's follow the rat. It's walking through your garage, sniffing around, looking for snacks, maybe judging your cleaning habits. Then, step. Game over. At first, the rat thinks, no problem. One tug. Nothing. Another tug. Still nothing. Then panic kicks in, and rats panic hard. They'll pull so violently they can tear skin off their own feet. Some have broken legs. Some dislocate joints. Some literally chew off their own limbs trying to escape. Yes, that's real. Imagine being so desperate. You decide, you know what? I wasn't using that foot anyway. Nature can be absolutely brutal. Here's the part most people never think about. Glue traps don't kill quickly. Sometimes the rat survives for hours. Sometimes a full day. Sometimes even longer. No food, no water. No escape, just stress, fear, exhaustion. Imagine being trapped in the same position, unable to move, for an entire day. Your muscles start cramping. Your body overheats or freezes, depending on where the trap is, and the whole time. You're completely aware. That's the part people don't see. They imagine, rat steps on trap. Scene fades to black. Nope, real life doesn't cut away. Think the story ends there, unfortunately. No, if the trap is outside, other animals find the rat. Cats, dogs, birds, even ants. Imagine being completely unable to move while something walks toward you. Very interested. Not exactly the ending anyone wants. Even pets get stuck. Curious kitten, stuck. Baby bird, stuck. Small snake, also stuck. Glue traps don't exactly ask for ID before grabbing something. They're like that one friend who invites literally everyone to the party, even the people nobody wanted there. Here's another awkward question. What happens when you find the rat? Because eventually, you have to deal with it. Most people buy the trap expecting, oh, I'll just throw it away. Then they discover the rat is still alive, looking at them, breathing, moving. Now what? Congratulations. You've accidentally signed up for a job you never wanted. Do you wait? Do you release it? Well, let's just say Google searches become very uncomfortable at this point. Nobody tells you this part on the packaging. Here's the funny thing. Even if the glue trap catches one rat, you probably still have more, because rats rarely travel alone. They're like potato chips. Nobody brings just one. If there's food available, another rat eventually shows up. Glue traps treat the symptom, not the cause. The real solution is much less exciting. Seal holes, store food properly, remove clutter, close entry points. Basically, make your house less attractive than your neighbors. I'm kidding, sort of. So what should you use instead? If you absolutely need to trap rats, modern snap traps are surprisingly effective. When placed correctly, they kill almost instantly. It's not pleasant, but it's far more humane. Live traps are another option, although remember, if you release a rat too close to your home, congratulations, you've just given it a free Uber ride. It'll probably come back. And if you have a serious infestation, professional pest control is usually worth it. They don't just remove rats, they figure out why they're there in the first place. That's the part that actually solves the problem. Conclusion: glue traps look harmless. They're cheap, simple, quiet, but behind that sticky little rectangle is a surprisingly cruel process. Most people don't buy them because they're cruel. They buy them because they don't know. Now you do. And honestly, that's probably the biggest reason people should stop using them. Not because rats are cute, not because anyone wants them in their kitchen, but because if we're going to deal with pests, we should do it in the quickest, most humane way possible. After all, nobody wants to star in a horror movie, especially over a $20 box of glue. I think the biggest lesson from all of this has nothing to do with rats. It's about how easily we trust simple solutions. A colorful package, a catchy slogan, a promise that says, place it down and your problem disappears. We love those promises because life is busy. We all want the quick fix, but nature rarely works that way. Whether it's fixing your health, repairing your house, learning a new skill, or dealing with pests, the long-term solution is usually less glamorous than the shortcut. It's prevention, maintenance, patience, and that's not as easy to advertise. If this video changed the way you think about glue traps, hit that like button. And if you enjoy videos where we separate myths from reality with a few terrible jokes along the way, subscribe to the channel. Also, tell us in the comments, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen someone use to try and get rid of rats? I've heard stories involving buckets, peanut butter, and one guy who genuinely thought loud heavy metal music would scare them away. Spoiler, the rats stayed, the neighbors didn't. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.